Hello. Hello, everyone. I'm Rhonda, and you're watching Keeping It Real Country Cooking. Thank you for watching. Do you love tomatoes? And do you love gravy? And do you absolutely love a great big homemade biscuit? Well, if so, I made some tomato gravy that will just wow your entire family. Look here. It is absolutely delicious. If you want to see how I made this, then you watch this video. Look at there, y'all. Absolutely wonderful. It is delicious. Throw some pepper on it, salt, and your family is absolutely going to love this. If you are a tomato fan, watch this. Good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hello, all you wonderful YouTubers, friends, and family. Happy Saturday morning. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. Okay? Thank you for watching my channel. I'm Rhonda, and you're watching Keeping It Real Country Cooking. Thank you so much. It is almost 10 a.m. in the morning, and I'm fixing to make some biscuits. Brandy hasn't got up yet. Well, he's awake. He's studying. I've already done my studying really early this morning, but he's back there doing his Bible study. So, I'm going to make some biscuits, and I wanted to talk to you guys about biscuits. A lot of people are afraid to make a biscuit. Why? I guess I can understand that because I used to be. I have absolutely failed at making biscuits. I've made hockey pucks. I've made rocks. I've made pastry dough. My biscuits turned out like pastry dough, y'all. They were terrible. The birds would not eat them. The rats probably would have not eaten them, okay? Biscuits are so easy. And I've got some notes that I have written down. It's usually 3 parts flour, 1 part fat, and 2 parts liquid. A lot of people use butter for their fat. I have. It makes a great biscuit. I have mixed butter with crisco shortening, you know, the solid crisco, not the oil. And that makes a great biscuit. A lot of people use lard, you know, like pig lard, the fat lard, and that makes a tasty biscuit. Some people use a lot of different fats, okay? But I always seem to go back to my crisco. The crisco has more of a melting point, or higher melting point, being that when you make your biscuit and you put it in a hot oven, it needs to be 500 degrees. 475 is fine, but 500 will give you the best biscuit, I promise. I've done so much research on biscuit making, okay? I promise you, 500 degrees will make the best biscuit. Because when it hits that hot oven, see, the crisco coats the flour much better than butter. And when it does that, it creates these little pockets, which helps you have a more tender biscuit. It keeps your flour from getting, I don't know, tough, probably. You know, it helps, it keeps from getting tough. You know, you have to have fat in order to make a biscuit, but if you add too much fat, then you're going to have a pie crust, okay? When you make your biscuits, I always use about, I say, let me see what I wrote down here. Generally, you use 1 teaspoon of baking powder per 1 cup of flour. I wouldn't go no more than 1 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder per cup of flour unless your recipe absolutely calls for it, because it will inhibit your taste. It can cause it to be bitter and soapy. It can mess up the texture of your biscuits, okay, causing the air pockets to rupture, and you'll have a denser, like a dense biscuit, okay? Let's see. What else did I write down here? Now, if you're using self-rising flour, you don't have to add anything else in it, okay? But I always add a little extra, half a teaspoon of salt, and I add about 2 teaspoons of sugar. Reason, it helps the browning of your biscuits. It will help them brown better. That's totally up to you, okay? Now, if you're using all-purpose flour, 1 cup of flour, use a teaspoon of baking powder. 2 cups of flour, use 2 teaspoons of baking powder. And also use about a teaspoon of salt, okay? And I find that using whole fat buttermilk makes a better biscuit. Now, sometimes whole fat buttermilk's hard to find. If you can't find any buttermilk, just use regular milk and add about, I don't know, a tablespoon per cup, or a teaspoon and a half, 2 teaspoons. Just add enough vinegar to where your milk smells like buttermilk. When you add the vinegar to your milk, stir it up. It does the exact same thing, okay? Because the acid in the vinegar reacts with everything in your flour, like your baking powder or your leavening agents, and it causes that reaction, and you'll have a rise in your biscuits, and it tastes exactly like the buttermilk biscuits, okay? Like I said, when butter can be used, the shortening produces a more tender biscuit. It has a higher melting point, okay? It gives more distinct layers of fat, and it coats that flour. Okay. I think that's about all I wanted to tell you. But as far as that part goes, now when you're making your biscuits, you don't have to pre-sift it. You buy pre-sifted flour a lot now. But if you don't have a sifter, take one of these and do this, okay? That does the exact same thing. All it wants you to do is just break that. If you got any clumps or anything in it, it helps break everything up, okay? That's it. And when you're doing your dough, don't overwork your dough, because if you do, you're going to cause the gluten to form. We're not making pizza dough, or we're not making a loaf of bread. We want a tender biscuit. The lighter the hand, the lighter the biscuit. You have a lot of room to play with. I mean, you know, just don't knead it for 5-10 minutes. No, don't do that. To have layers in your biscuit, roll your dough, fold your dough, roll it just a little bit, or pat it out with your hands. That's usually what I do. And then, you know, fold it 3-4 times. Just don't overwork your dough, okay? I always add about, like I said, about a tablespoon or so. Let's see, what did I say? I wrote it down. Let's see, 1 part fat, okay? So you want about, so you probably want about 1/3 or 1/4 of a cup of shortening per 2 cups, okay? You'll get used to that. So right now in my bowl, I got about 3.5-4 cups of self-rising flour. I've added about 2 teaspoons of sugar. You don't have to do that. And I added just a couple of shakes of extra salt. You don't have to do that either. But if you buy the self-rising, all you have to do is add your fat and your milk. And that's it. And preheat that oven to 500. Don't go below 475, or it's going to take longer to bake those biscuits, and they'll get hard. That's the truth. Oh, man. I had a message this morning from, I've told y'all, and y'all probably watched her, Franny Joe, Savvy Sweets. She's a hoot, that girl. And her son, I think she has 2 sons, but one of her sons, he has a cooking channel, and I think he just reached a little over 400 followers. Now, I'm up to 391, so y'all need to help me. I've got to get at least 500. So y'all please share, hit that like button. And when you hit that like button, y'all, it puts us, it helps get our videos on the algorithm, okay? But anyway, I think, I'm not sure what his name is. I think it begins with a J, I think. But he is good. It's called Dad Simply Cooking. He's got some great recipes. He's got a beautiful wife. She has a channel also. And they have the most 2 beautifulest children I've ever seen. So he looks a lot like Franny Joe, but his hair's dark. Y'all take a look at that. It's called Dad Simply Cooking. He's got a great sense of humor. It's just a good show. I think y'all like it. It's a good channel. He makes a lot of different stuff. And I just want to share that with you. And y'all share, please. It's important. People don't realize how important it is to hit that thumbs up button. Because when you hit it, then it gets it going. They have their own way of doing that, but it does help. Okay? So, let's get to these biscuits, okay? All right. I'm going to try to make some other bread today. They're these rolls, and it's so easy. It just takes, let's see, you got to let them rise 3 times for 30 minutes. So what, an hour and a half? If you got an hour and a half, these rolls are, they got the best crust. And you can make it into a loaf too if you wanted to. So I'm going to try to make those. They're simple. It's simple, okay? So I'm going to try to make those also. All right, I got to get busy or my Crisco's going to get room temperature. Okay. So I got about 3.5, 4 cups of self-rising flour. And, you know, you can use whatever flour you like. I like the Great Value self-rising flour. I like the texture of it. I've tried all the flour. I just like it. That's what I like for my biscuits. You can use whatever kind of flour that you like, okay? But like I said, if you can, use self-rising. You don't have to worry about all that other stuff. All right? Now, I'm going to put in my grease. I call it grease. What do y'all call it? We call it grease. Okay. Let me get my pastry cutter out here, if I can find it. I cleaned out my cabinets and I put stuff in different places, and now I don't know where I'm doing the pastry cutter. I'll be right back, y'all. So it was in the dishwasher. It's clean. So you can do this by hand. You can take and do it with a fork. You can do it with a knife. You just want to cut that Crisco into the flour. And you want it to look like little, well, I'll show you in just a second. Andy's daddy told me that I made the biscuits that tasted like his mother's. His daddy's 92, and that just, it made me feel so good that he likes my biscuits. He said, you're the only one that can make them taste like my mama's biscuits. Okay. Now, you see these little, like pea size or a little less than pea size, those things. When you can take your dough and kind of mash it together and it holds in little clumps like that, then you know you're pretty good. See, just little clumps. Kind of like, you know, when it can hold together a little bit, then you're pretty good. Okay. Alrighty. Now you want to start adding your buttermilk. Now I've told y'all several times that flour takes on a different amount of liquid on certain days. Depends on what the humidity's doing. You just want to put enough, add a little bit of milk at a time. And you just want to add enough to where it's incorporated. That's it. Just add a little bit at a time. If you add too much, add a little extra flour. Just to where, you know, you got it, and it was probably about a cup and a half. Alrighty. Now, I want y'all to make these biscuits if you have never made one. Okay? Don't be afraid to do it. Let me put this stuff back in the refrigerator. I'll be right back. Alrighty. I'm waiting on a grocery order, y'all. I didn't feel like going out this morning. I'm just about out of coffee. All right, now just flour your surface. And then dump your dough out. Get the rest of your dough. Okay. Now, sometimes I don't make my biscuits right away. I don't cook my biscuits right away. So I will put them on the pan and I will stick them in the refrigerator. You want to keep them cool. So when it hits that hot oven, this Crisco will melt. So we're going to flip it over. Knock off some of that excess flour. Okay. Alright, gonna fold it again. Press it down. And fold it again. And press it down. Alright. Let me get this wet dough out of the way. Now I'm going to get my rolling pin. like this rolling pin, but I'll use it. And you want it to be about, I don't know, about a 1/2 inch, 1/4 of an inch. Depends on how big you want your biscuits. The thicker your biscuit, the higher it's going to rise. It's just totally up to you. If you want a thick biscuit, let it be about a 1/2. So, I think, let me see. That was about a 1/2 inch, I guess. And look, when you cut them, don't twist. Go in and out, in and out. Or you're going to seal the edges and you won't get those layers. See? I'm putting them over here in my pan. I don't know if y'all can see that. Now we're going to take this dough and we're going to make some more. I'll fold it. I'm going to fold it. And biscuit making is messy. It is messy. These are going to be some big biscuits. Some big biscuits. They might be a little smaller. We're only going to eat a couple. I'm going to send some to Randy's daddy. He likes to eat them for breakfast. He even eats them for dinner sometime. Then I'm just going to just sit like that. All right. I'm going to stick these in the refrigerator because I have not preheated my oven yet. Okay? Okay, my oven is preheated to 500. I just put my biscuits in there, y'all. And it takes about 15 to 17 minutes. Just keep your eye after about 13 minutes because they can cook pretty quick. So y'all, I got something else that I'm going to fix this morning. Got some bacon grease. We had breakfast for supper last night. We sure did. I fixed some bacon and some eggs and toast. Okay. All right, y'all. I got a couple of tablespoons of, oh, by the way, I'm making tomato gravy. If you love tomatoes and you've never had tomato gravy, you're missing out. It is something that we ate growing up, and Mama didn't make homemade biscuits until we left home. We had canned biscuits, but it was delicious. Tomato gravy, y'all. And if you don't like the tomato, just make this recipe without the tomatoes. But what I've got here, I meant to say that first, is I had a couple of tomatoes that were getting ready to go south. And I had to go on and chop them up. It was just 2 small Roma tomatoes. And then I had a little bit of some canned tomatoes left over. So this is about 1.5 cups of tomatoes and some juice, see? So I've got about 2 tablespoons of bacon grease in this pan. So if you got about 2 tablespoons of grease, then you're going to use about, let's see, make sure it's about 2 tablespoons. Then you're going to use 2 tablespoons of flour. Okay? Then you're going to use about a cup or a cup and a half of milk, water, whatever you want to use. I'm using water. I don't want milk tomato gravy. I just don't think that would taste very good. So, there's our flour. And we're going to brown this flour. I've got salt and pepper in my tomatoes. And I really don't want to make a whole lot because Randy don't like it. He's just a little weird eater, y'all. You want to brown this up. Turn your heat up a little bit. And if you want a light gravy, don't cook your flour too long. Because the darker the flour, then it's going to be the dark gravy. It's going to be the color that you have your flour. Alrighty, so we're getting this, and you want to make sure you cook all the raw flour out of it, y'all. Okay. Good morning, honey. So here you go. Thank you. So I don't want it too dark. I'm making tomato gravy. I know you don't want none, but I'm going to make you some eggs, Randy. Say good morning.
Huh?
Say good morning.
Good morning.
And I'm going to add a little extra pepper into this, too. Okay. So cook it about 5 or so minutes. You know, make sure you get the flour taste out. Now I'm going to go ahead and add my tomatoes, a little at a time. You don't have to have warm water, nothing like that. Are my groceries here? You got to leave that door open. They'll be here soon, honey. If you didn't know. Alright, and then you want to start adding some water. Probably gonna be about a cup and a half of water. Let me check my biscuits. Okay, they looking good. And this will thicken up if I don't make a big mess and get it all out of the skillet, y'all. My stomach is a-growling. This is about a cup and a half of water. You can put in onion powder if you want it. I do that sometime, or garlic powder. I just use, I'm going to just use salt and pepper today. Now, it's going to take right much salt. Just saying. And you got to have pepper with gravy. That's just all it is to it. Black pepper and gravy. And I use the bacon grease. You can use butter if you don't want to use bacon grease. Just however how much butter you use, put that much flour in your pan. Okay. like black pepper, y'all. Oh, this is gonna be so good. And if it's too thick, y'all, just add some more water. If it gets too thick, it's fine. But if you gotta add more flour, then you need to make a slurry with flour and water and then add it so it won't be lumpy. Check my biscuits. Okay. Let it come to a little boil, you know. And then it'll be done. And when it starts cooling, it's going to get thicker. So just count on that. So determine how thick you want it before it starts getting cool. Because I have made real thick gravy before. And I think that'll be fine. And I'm taking that off the heat. And there we go. Tomato gravy. Now, like I said, it will get thicker. Look at there, y'all. Tomato gravy. That's so good. Scrumptious. So, here are my biscuits. Look at there, y'all. Beauty, beauty, beauty. And they taste, I know they're gonna taste wonderful. Okay, I got my gravy, my tomato gravy. Look at there. And I'm gonna get one of these big biscuits. I was gonna fix Randy some eggs, but he decided to go out and mow. I thought it was too wet, but he said it's going to rain again today, so he needs to get it done. Look at them, y'all. Alrighty. I'm gonna pour some of this wonderful tomato gravy on here. Y'all. Wonderful. Woo. So let's taste it. Okay? I can't hold it too good. Just like my mama made. That is so good, y'all. And this is stick to your ribs food right here. Tomato gravy. If you like tomatoes, you'll love this. Wow, wow, wow. A little bit more salt. A little bit more pepper. I like black pepper, y'all. Oh my goodness. Y'all try this. You could have this for breakfast, supper, anytime. So, with that being said, I'm going to finish my biscuits and tomato gravy. And I will be back later. I'm thinking about fixing some pork chops for dinner. And Randy's dad, I had frozen some leftovers, that mac and cheese and that taco hamburger helper. I took it out of the freezer, and I'm gonna fix him another vegetable to go with it, and some biscuits, and that's what he's gonna have next week. I love y'all. Please hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't. And I'm gonna try to come back in a little while and make some rolls. See how my time goes. Thank you so much.